night breaking, we are taking, this is our time. Just breathe, this will be a hard fight. The truth comes shadows in the night.
All right, guys. It is another great evening. Been very busy today. Started a new job, and that's why the show is at 8 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock. And that's because I had to bump it up just to give myself enough time to get home. I need to apologize ahead of time, guys. Johnny's not going to make it this evening, only because of my fault. I had to bump it up an hour, and that kind of bites into his sleep time because we know. He has to get up really early and drive a very long ways to get to work. Luckily for me, with the new job, I do not have to get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. I don't have to be at work until 9:30, so I get to sleep in. But my time off every day is questionable on what time I get off. So that's the only challenges I have to run with. And but life is good. God is good. He has blessed me, and everything is fantastic. We're going to have a great time tonight. There's a guy we're having. His name is Mike Familant. Great guy. I've watched him. I've covered him. I've been seeing what he's doing and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to have a conversation with him and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have this conversation. This guy does it all. It's not just researching and going in the woods and coming out. He's got his hands in a lot of stuff. So it'd be really interesting to talk to him and see what he's got going on and stuff like that. And he's one of those guys that he might be an area near you someday. So you get an opportunity to meet him and talk to him and stuff. So I'm going to bring him on, and we're going to get started.
Hey, hey.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, good, great. Thank you so much for having me on. I really super appreciate it. We're gonna have a great time.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you giving us the time to be here and stuff like that. Like I said, I've watched what you're doing, and you know, I wish I had the time. I wish I could do what you do and travel and go to these different locations and meet all these different people and have these conversations and stuff like that. And that's what I really want to delve into so people understand what does Mike do? What is, they may have heard the name, may have not have heard the name, but tonight they will. And gives them an opportunity to see what you're doing, and you've got this great thing going on. That's like we talked earlier where I had emailed you or messaged you or something. I remember messaging you and stuff and just offering my assistance if you were in my area, and we'll get into that. So let's start. What state are you in?
Yeah, just before we get into everything, I wanted, just like you said prior to getting bringing me on, is I am very blessed with what I have as well. I just made a Facebook post today about how, like, just how grateful I am to be able to do what I am. And not a lot of people. Hey, Flat Rock, I love Flat Rock.
He's a
Not a
great
lot of
guy.
people have that capability, and I'm just so thankful and grateful that I am. So I'm based out of northwestern New Jersey, which is the armpit of Pennsylvania and New York. Um, and I'm a full-time Bigfoot researcher. And not a lot of people can say that they're a full-time. A lot of
Mm-mm.
Bigfoot researchers are hobbyists at best. I kind of took the dive into the whole Bigfoot research full time when I decided that I wasn't going to be a firefighter and EMT anymore. And I wanted to just get out in the woods and not have a boss. So I decided what's the best way to do that. And I came up with, I'm going to make a TV show, and we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
But that's what I do. And I've been looking for Bigfoot since my first expedition in 2011. And I've been on the road full time since 2003 doing this full time.
Wow. That is really every researcher's dream. And I'm pretty sure you hear that a lot. That we would love the opportunity to just stop everything that we're doing and do this all the time. Because I tell people all the time, it's a win-win. I love being in the woods. I love hiking. I love camping. I love the smell of a fire. And to be able to be out there looking for Sasquatch on a full-time basis and enjoy the things that I love to do, oh, that's fantastic, dude. You're living the dream. You're living the dream.
Well, I'll tell you, I spent, it's a double-edged sword because my back hurts. I spent 139 nights just this year tent camping, looking for
Ooh.
Bigfoot. So that's, my back is not doing so great anymore. Need to upgrade the air mattress. I think get a little higher
Mm.
off the ground type of thing for next year.
I tell you what I did because I only tent camp. What saved me now, granted, if you're hiking out really far, this is
Yeah,
definitely, but a cot. Oh,
yeah.
cot is everything, everything, and a bigger tent. I've got a 13 by 9, and it's like 6.5 feet tall, so I can stand up.
Condo, you could stand up in it. That's what I got one of them too. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. They're expensive, but I
Yeah.
would not that's I because I do these library tours and so the way I'm able for those of you that your listeners that don't know me, for those of you that don't know what I do is I speak at libraries during the day around the country, and that funds my way to do this whole full-time camping thing across the country. So going back to the tent thing, I get changed up and I get all fancied up when I go to these libraries. I get a nice collared shirt and look all spiffy and stuff like that. So I need to have some comfortable room to be able to change and stuff like that. So the tent, I got a built-in light that has like an LED light in the top of the tent, the dome in it. Oh, it's an instant canopy tent. It's like $400, but I wouldn't. I mean, if it breaks, I'll get another one tomorrow. No question about it.
Absolutely. I've got pretty much the same thing where, and I've done videos, or I've actually gone out with other researchers and put up my tent. From the moment I get everything out of from the start, if I stop watch from the moment I pull in to the moment I'm completely set up, 10 minutes.
That's
ten
impressive.
minutes.
Yeah.
And because it lifts up in the middle, I just lock it into place, walk around
Yeah.
it, put the stakes in, and then it's just putting everything inside. I love it. I'm like you. If something happens with this tent, I'm buying another one, and they are expensive, $300-400 for one of these.
Yeah.
But I did a show one time on doing this type of research on a budget,
Mm,
and telling people, don't go broke doing this. Some things work just as well as other things, but as far as the tent, I mean, check marketplace. People get rid of tents all the
yeah.
time,
Oh, I got
and you,
3 of them up on Marketplace right now.
yeah. I've got multiple I got a little 2-man tent that I use for storage. I've got my original dome tent, which you can't stand up in, but I love it because when you take the fly off, it's 360-degree view all the way
Oh,
around.
nice.
And then I got the big tent, but then I've got one that goes in the bed of my truck,
Oh,
which I've never used, but it's there. so,
yeah. Yep. No, that's cool.
so right now, are you in Jersey?
I am, yeah, I'm home. I tend to try to take the winter off. Unlike down by you, it gets cold up here. It was snowing. We got our first snow the other day,
Oh,
and I don't know if you know this about me, but I used to live in Florida. I was down there for a couple years, and my blood thinned, and it's
mm,
not coming back. So
no, it doesn't.
I'm very cold up here. I'm bundled up as it is, and I don't do. Although it's very fun to look for tracks in the snow, it's not my favorite hobby ever to go outside when it's snowing.
When's your next road trip?
I leave for Florida January 23rd.
Oh wow! So you're in
Yeah.
Jersey until January?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here until January. I got a couple local events that I'm doing. I have a Q&A a month from tomorrow in New York City, which I'm very excited about, in Hell's Kitchen at the theater in Theater Row, and then I kind of take off for a little bit until January. So gives me time to prepare for my new tour that's coming up, the Do You Believe Beyond the Footprints tour, and it's a brand new presentation that I'm bringing to libraries this year, or next year. So can't wait for that.
Now, when you do these things at these libraries, which I think is fantastic, nobody thought of that, and that is definitely your niche, and that's awesome, because that's one of the key things in this field is thinking outside the box,
Mhm.
and that's pretty awesome. What is, as far as the people you're meeting and talking to, what is the consensus? I mean, how did they feel in general about the subject?
Everybody, it's really funny, and I love to have this conversation with people because if you're outside the Bigfoot community, you will not understand this. Everybody in the Bigfoot community and the Bigfoot world, for the most part, I'm not going to say everybody, but for the most part, is so phenomenally nice and happy and just excited to be part of the community. And that's the overwhelming response when I do these library presentations is everybody is just so happy to be there and so excited for me to share my knowledge because it's not every day that they get to talk to an actual Bigfoot researcher. And it's really cool. One of my favorite parts of the whole program is the question and answer is a question and answer session, and that's at the end of the program. And I let everybody answer. I answer everybody's question, no matter what what age, how many questions they're going to throw at me. I don't care about that. Everybody gets their question answered, and I think that's a very important part of doing this. One, thinking outside the box, but two, it's opening people's minds and imaginations as well. That's a huge part about Bigfoot research.
Yeah, and it is like that. I think it's humbling. I think the first time I was humbled was at a Bigfoot conference, and somebody, it was the first time it happened to me. Somebody walked over to me and said, "Hey, Bigfoot Florida guy, I'm a subscriber," and it just,
Yeah,
and it makes you stop and go, "Wow, people are watching and people do subscribe and they're real," and it humbles you, and you want to talk to that person. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
and give them that moment that they're looking for. And I'm sure that happens a lot to you.
I'll tell you what, it happened for me. The game changer moment for me came in my show. It's called In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, and it was around season 2. I just started the show, and oh, there it is. Yep, it's on YouTube. And I got in a message on YouTube from somebody. It's when you could send messages back on YouTube back in the day, and they said that they're a fan of the show, and that because of a new chronic condition, that they are never going to be able to get out into the woods again to investigate and research Bigfoot. However, my style was very similar to how they investigated, and now they are living their life vicariously through my show.
It is so funny you bring that up because that's what got me started doing a YouTube channel. You know what
Mm,
I mean?
mhm.
I was doing research without doing anything that nobody knew about.
Yeah,
And I thought, you know, there were so, because I had ran into some people that were handicapped, for example, and they could not go in the woods. It was just not
yeah,
going to happen. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a channel and I want people to just go on the trip with me. You know what I mean? If we get
yeah,
something or we don't get something, they get to go along. They get to see the scenery. They get to hear me. And that if I see something or I find something, I show it and stuff like that. Exactly the same thing. Exact. That's
yeah,
funny you say that. And that's always been my thing is I just want people to be able to get out there and see what we do without actually having to get out there because they can't.
yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing.
Yeah. It's and it's it, like your show. Mine is not about finding evidence every time. It's not about actually finding Bigfoot. It has nothing to do with that. It's the journey and the experience getting there is what matters. And I think that's shared through all the researchers, I believe. I hope anyway. But
Oh,
that's one of the common themes through my show. I could have like and the way I film my show is like I could have a camera crew follow me with these very expensive camera. I just bought another camera, which is very expensive, but with these huge cameras and lighting and boom microphones and stuff like that and production crews. I could have all that if I wanted to, but I don't, because I want people to be able to experience the show in a way that they they can relate to it. They can go out in the woods and film their own show. I had that happen to me one a couple I guess it was last year. Yeah, last year someone had Facebooked me and said, "Hey, I homeschool my my children, and they saw an I had on the front page of one of the newspapers up here was a story about me and how I go look for Bigfoot. They logged onto my YouTube channel and they saw all my episodes. They saw one from this area up in New Jersey. So that sparked them to actually make their own In the Shadow of Big Red Eye episode. And they went out and they went and did the tree knocks and the whoops during the day, up to High Point, and they
Right.
brought the newspaper article and they were pointing, and that is what it's all about. It's not about finding Bigfoot. That's what it's about.
And that's true, and that's why I tell everybody. I go I go and I've gone out with other groups and I've been invited out to other groups and stuff like that. And it's really funny because sometimes I always hear this. They'll say, "Hey, dude, I'm so sorry we didn't get anything. I'm so sorry we didn't see anything or anything like that."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, you don't get it. It's not always about that. It's a win-win. I'm doing
Mm.
what I enjoy doing." You know what I'm saying? So I leave content. I leave happy. You know what I mean? Granted, I would love a 10-second video of Sasquatch walking out and looking at me, but
Yeah.
um, you have to get out there to increase those odds. You have to be out there. And
Yeah.
like yourself, I put in a lot of hours in the woods, and but it's mostly just to increase my odds.
Exactly. Yeah. Sasquatch is not going to find himself.
Mm. He knows where he's at.
Yeah.
I always tell people a Bigfoot is the most selfish creature I've ever known in my life. You know what I mean? He's out there. He ain't got a whole lot going on and stuff like that, but he can't give me 10 seconds. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's really
Right.
selfish of him. You know, and because I'm big on video, I don't do a lot of pictures. I like
Yeah.
doing video because I've
Mhm.
always said this. If we can catch a good solid 10 seconds of film, kind of like the Patterson Gimlin, it answers more questions
Yeah.
than a picture.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
100%. Yeah. And
So I'm big on film.
I've even gotten away from like really hardcore audio capturing. I've gone more to just filming with my camera almost constantly when I'm out in the woods. Just because the audio on the camera today nowadays is just so quality, it's so good quality, high quality.
Right. Well, yeah, and in this day and age, and I tell people all the time that really, if you've got a really decent phone, because the phones nowadays, especially if you've got the Samsung, what is it? I got the 22 Ultras and 23 Ultra, all the Ultras. The cameras are
Hmm.
fantastic. They're just
Yeah.
amazing with 100 times zoom. That's all you need. Get out there, hike with your family, hike with your kids, and take your phone with you. And if you see something, film it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. So it was cool. My first experience with Bigfoot actually happened in Florida. Go figure.
Oh, nice.
Did you know that? In up in
No,
Torreya State Park, up in the Panhandle.
up in close to Pensacola.
Yeah, 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 yep. Outside of Pensacola, to the east of Pensacola, I believe it is. Really cool, cool. Bristol, Florida, Sneeds, Florida area. Very cool, cool area. It was actually a BFRO trip. It was my back in 2011, and it was really cool. I had nothing happened the whole trip. It was like a 3 night 4 day trip. Nothing really happened, and the last night we got four fist sized. We were up just watching a meteor shower at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Me and my buddy, and we got four fist sized rocks thrown at us.
Oh, oh wow.
And my buddy, he was like, "Well, if you want to sleep in the car," I was petrified. This is my first time ever camping. So my buddy Jimmy, he was like, "Well, if you want to sleep in the car, you could sleep in the," and I'm like, "Well, okay." And then, he came up to the car and he was like, "Mike, this could be squatchy activity. This is Bigfoot throw rocks, throw. And I was like, yeah, I suppose you're right. So went back out by the campfire. Over the course of the next 15 minutes, four more of these
Wow.
fist-sized rocks came crashing down, landed 5 feet, 5 to 10 feet away from us. So, um, then my buddy came up to me, Jimmy. He was like, and he's my best friend to this day. He's like now a paramedic, one of the like most intelligent people I know. However, he's not the brightest crown in the box. You know what I mean? So he came up. He said, "Mike, I got an idea. I'm gonna throw a rock back at it." Yeah. So he did, and he took the rock, he chucked it back in that direction, and literally 5 seconds later, a 15-pound laptop-sized boulder came crashing out of the woods and landed 5 feet from us.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was
Wow.
it. That was my physically, that was it. Nothing else happened that night, but metaphorically, that was what sparked my whole the change of my career, my life. Those
It created
15
that
minutes.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if it wasn't for that, I'd be right now. I would not be speaking to you. I'd be sitting on a street corner in the city of Tampa somewhere, working on the ambulance. You know.
Right.
So
Right.
it's crazy how things happen.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's I kind of it's one of those things that when it finally happens, it just draws you in. It just sucks
Yeah.
you in, and it's always happenstance. It's never when you plan it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It just happens, and so looking at that incident, let's look at the four rocks at first. Why do you think they threw the rocks?
So I think so. Uh, let's back up a little bit prior to this. So going into this expedition, like I said, it was a BFRO expedition. This is my first time ever camping. Never been camping, never been outside. So we get to the expedition, and there are like 60 other people on this
Wow.
expedition. And I was like, how are we going to find Bigfoot with 60 other people here? You know? So we camped kind of far away from everybody because, well, one, we thought everybody was going to be weird. That was it. No, that was it. There was only one. We just thought everybody was going to be weird. So we camped a little bit far away from everybody. And n- like I said, nothing happened until the last night. I think the reason why we got the rocks thrown at us was because we were either farther away from everybody or closer to the family group of Bigfoot that did not want us there. I think that's what kind of got us the activity. Nobody else got any activity that trip at all, zero. But we were the ones because we were outside of that group of cluster of everybody else that tent camped next to each other. I think that's why we got that activity.
Yeah, because I always wondered what was because if they wanted to harm you, they could do it easily. But yet, a lot of these throwing things to me is kind of like they're saying something. They're not trying to attack you or hurt you. They're trying to say something. Like I had it happen to me one time where it came from behind me over my head and landed somewhere in front of me. And I think, and I to me, when it happened, was it wanted me to turn around and look at them. It wanted me to at least look in their direction. See what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
hey, turn around. I want to look at you, type thing. Like they're entertained, or interested.
right.
So, do you think it was something like that? Because when it first happened, you were in the truck, right, or in the vehicle?
No, no, I was outside. We were just sitting
Oh,
chatting,
okay.
watching a meteor shower, and then the first rock came, and I got scared. Went into the car.
Ah,
Jimmy was like, "You got to come back out, man." So I think what the pivotal point of that was when after Jimmy threw the rock back, that really big rock came and landed. That could have hit us, no question. Any
right,
of these rocks could have hit us, but I think
right.
they didn't for a reason. For what angle did the rocks come? That's a great question. They came like straight down, so
So it
it
was
wasn't
tossed
like
high.
yeah, exactly. You could hear them come through the trees like plunk, and you could hear the rocks like literally like rope like hit the ground. So I think that we went back the next day. We were there, obviously we were camping, but we wanted to be all scientific about this, because we're like, okay, this is a Bigfoot research expedition. Let's figure out, like, let's ask some questions. So the first question we asked was like, okay, how close could this thing have been to us that was throwing these rocks? And the closest that we did the measurements and all this good stuff, the closest it could have been was 75 yards away.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's outside of I can't throw a baseball
No.
half that distance, let alone a 15-pound boulder.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. When especially when you see something, a rock is one thing, but a small boulder is telling me leave.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
different message. It's a different message. So
Yeah, it was one of those things where Jimmy tossed the rock back at it and it was like, anything you could do, I can do better, and I'm going to show you that.
yeah, yeah, they one upped him definitely, definitely. So go from there. So that was your first encounter, and that kind of opened up this veil in front of you that there's something to this, and then go from there. What happened next?
Yeah, so Jimmy and I, so important thing to note is we went into this expedition not thinking twice about Bigfoot. Um we left this expedition knowing that there's something capable of throwing these rocks at us, right? So it changed our whole philosophy of what could be possibly in the woods. So it lit a fire under us, and we started researching everything that we could get our hands on about Bigfoot. um, we were living in the Tampa. I was living in the Tampa area. So we started, we were watching all the shows on TV. Finding Bigfoot was popular back in the time. Um, we were talking to the researchers, witnesses that we could get our hands on if we could speak to any of them. And in about a 3-week time frame, we decided that we are now professionals. So we went to Colt Creek State Park. We were talking about that a little bit before the show. One of my favorite places to go ever. I love Colt Creek. It's so beautiful. It's gorgeous. But Jimmy and I, we go there for one night and one night only. And Jimmy didn't really want to do a night hike, but I kind of did. So I made the decision to go on a night hike, and Jimmy's going to come with me. So, anyways, Jimmy's not scared at all because he's got his 6-foot tall machete and his 10 million lumen spotlight, that he's got shining around. So he's not scared. But anyways, about a mile and a half from camp, we're walking just through the woods, and we're doing Bigfoot calls every 2 seconds. Anything with a brain would know that there's two idiots running through the woods making these sounds, right? Anything with a brain would have got out of the area. Simple. They would have just got out of the area. So, anyways, about a mile and a half from camp, Jimmy's spotlight, we turn this corner. Jimmy's spotlight hits this 2 pairs of reflecting eyes. One pair, fire engine red, kind of like this. The other pair, aqua blue.
Mm.
That was intriguing. So, anyways, Jimmy, we, in our infinite wisdom of everything in the woods, we thought it was people. We didn't realize, like, as people, we don't have eye shine, so we can't see at night. We were so new to this whole being in the woods thing. So I start yelling, "Hey, we're just looking for Bigfoot," you know, and just no response, just those
Wow.
eyes staring back at us, right? So we think at this point in our lives that they are poachers illegally poaching animals. And I'm like, when they're shooting animal, and like we're about to get shot. So I'm like, oh, this is not a good scenario to be in right now. So I start yelling out, "Hey, we're just gonna go back to camp. Sorry to bother you guys." Then the red set of eyes turns and looks at the blue set, turns and looks back, and then blinks.
Oh.
Another nope moment in our lives. We were out of there real quick. But what was cool is Jimmy put a notch in the tree with his machete. So when we went back the next day to do a recreation, because that's how we saw him do it on TV. We saw him do like the, let's go in the woods and Bobo puts his arms up. So that's what I did. And we went back and we saw that the eyes were about 7.5 feet tall. So
Wow.
my rolling theory is that unless it was two different species of owls sitting on a tree branch that did not exist there, I think it might have been two Sasquatch that we saw that night. So
I ran into something similar. We had an encounter. There was 5 of us there. Won't go into the encounter so much, but when we were reviewing the video, one of the guys found eye shine that we didn't see when we were there. I was the only one running a headlamp. I was running a headlamp. It was an exciting moment. It was the first time that I've done this. I actually pulled out my pew pew because it was that antagonizing. But anyways, they went back in the film, and but it was really cool because we went back to the location to reenact it during the daytime, and everything was perfect. The moss hanging from the tree, where the tree, everything fit perfect. So we could literally narrow it down to exactly where I was standing. And then the other guy went to where, okay, I'm looking at the photo or, from the film, and then I've got where we're at right now. And I said, okay, take your walking stick and lift it up until I tell you where the eyes are at. And it was right around 8 feet.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yep. So kind of like so the same thing.
Yeah. That's down in Florida.
It's an area that me and you absolutely need to talk about off air.
Cool. Okay.
Absolutely have to talk about that specific location off air.
Okay. Awesome. But yeah, and that just fueled that was just more fuel on the fire for me to start going and looking for Bigfoot. And then back in then I've had as from there, I've gotten some crazy stuff. That's back in 2011. 2016 comes around, and I moved back home to Jersey from Florida, and I start the show In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, which is currently the longest and only running YouTube series about a Bigfoot documentary ever. And it can be found on YouTube. It comes out every Monday night, even as I travel across the country. I'll give you a little tidbit of maybe a little secret. If you are subscribed, so new episodes come out every Monday at 7 p.m., right? If you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you could see it at 6:45. Just saying. I'm just saying, hey, the perks of subscriptions, let me tell you. But yeah, I
tell people all the time, please subscribe. It's free.
yeah, it doesn't cost a thing. It doesn't. It's very cool. It's a fun little thing. Basically, I document my travels across the country looking for Bigfoot, like a lot of YouTubers and Bigfoot researchers do. Mine's different because it's the weekly show, and it's I don't find stuff every time like we talked about before. A lot of like these shows on TV will dramatize the evidence and stuff, and they're all made for ratings and views and stuff like that. And I understand that. But really the reason why I made my show was because I was tired of watching that kind of stuff on TV. And I wanted to make a show which displayed and showed the public what real Bigfooting is truly like and truly about.
Oh, dude, absolutely, man. You're like, you came from the same womb as me, dude. I try to push that into people all the time and say, it's not glamorous, and two, people are not making it rich doing this, and it's difficult. It's very, very difficult, and 99% of the time you walk out of there with nothing, And I tell people all the time, the first red flag you should always get is that person that every single time they go out, they got something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It doesn't work that way. I can count on one hand everything that I can relate to Bigfoot in 20 years.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
it's very difficult, but when that one thing happens, it's amazing.
Oh,
It's really
it's just
amazing.
yeah, it's enough to reel her right back in, isn't it?
Absolutely. There
Yeah.
were times, and fairly recent, dealing with a lot of issues in my personal life. I almost gave it up because I was so frustrated with the
Yeah.
BS that I'm seeing on Facebook and
Yeah.
seeing on YouTube. I just, if I could reach through the screen and wring somebody's neck and say, "Dude, you're so full of crap," it just frustrates me to no end, because I'm very logical. I'm very
Yeah.
logical in the way I look at things, the way I see this thing, and then you get this stuff that just blows my mind, and I'm like, how does this? How do people buy into that? You know what I mean? I just don't get it.
Which is ironic because as my um job position title has taken me to these various places that I go, I now MC a lot of these national conferences and festivals across the country. And I have the honor of introducing all these wonderful people that you just wanted to wring their necks to. So
Oh, I
it's even better. I not only do I get the pleasure to introduce them, I'm friendly with all of them as well. So
I'm
that's just the
friendly.
nature of the beast.
I get it. I play the political part. I'm very
Yep.
kind and very,
Yep.
forthcoming and stuff like that. But on the same end, I have made no qualms to anybody where I stand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um,
Mhm.
I hold true to me. I gotta address this real quick because audio 2545. Wow, audio. You've been watching for a long time, if you remember that. They said, I'll put it back up here. It says, "Hey Richard, I remember seeing you go in the hole in the palmettos where the Sasquatch probably were going." That was a few years ago, and basically we were out squatching. This is back when I was doing stuff with Carrie Arnold, and so we go out to this one location, and it's a picture of field with palmetto bushes sporadic. Okay, and these palmetto bushes were 8, 10 feet tall, just
Mhm.
a bushel of them, and then open land, and then another one, then open land, and another one. And there was this tunnel, like something had went in and out of it. So I was surrounded by great guys. I was like, okay, I'm going in there, and I did. I got on my hands and knees, and I crawled my way in there, and filming while I'm in there and stuff like that.
That's
That it's
awesome.
funny that they bring that up because that was a long time ago. That was pretty cool.
You got some
You know,
dedicated fans.
I appreciate audio. That put a smile on my face. That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, like I said, there's some people that I don't buy into. I'm respectful.
Yeah.
I go to the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference every year. You should check
Mhm.
it out. It's amazing. It's one of the ones by Gather Up, so it's the same group that does Gatlinburg and does the
Yeah.
cruise and all that.
Mhm.
This is the one that starts the year. This is the big one that
Yeah, I've been
slingshots the
meaning
rest
to
of the
get
year.
down to it. It's just logistically it's hard for me that time of year to get down there. I historically am just coming off my Florida trip, so it's hard for me to get back, and I'm just starting the touring season up in Indiana that time of year. So it's hard for me to get down there. I would like to go. I was in Gatlinburg this past year. It was very cool. They do an awesome job, and I think the cruise is going on right now, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure because I could not afford the price tag to that thing, so
Yeah.
I kind of ignore it. That's a few grand to go on that thing, and also, of course, we lost Dr. Meldrum this year, and he was
Mm,
going to be on this cruise. So that's a sad thing. I wouldn't want to go knowing that that's because I've met him in the past and had the opportunity to talk to him, and it would be a sad thing to go to and knowing that he's supposed to be
yeah.
there and he's not. So.
Yeah. But that's
Uh,
fun. It's all good. Let's see. So what else do you want to talk about?
Well, let's. Okay, so you got your buddy, Jimmy,
Jimmy.
and you're doing this. He's got you. He's kind of like your partner in crime, evidently, on some of these occasions. So you're doing stuff with. Now you're still doing stuff with the BFRO, going out on expeditions and doing stuff with them.
Yeah, for a hot minute there, I was actually an investigator with the BFRO. I had all that good stuff, and I was investigating reports. If you go on the Florida BFRO and the New Jersey BFRO's website, you can dig a real deep, and you can find a couple of my reports from in there.
Well, we got a
It
guy in
was
the
fun.
audience,
What's that?
Icebox. We got a guy in the chat room, Icebox. He used to be with the BFRO in the past too. We
Okay.
also just did an interview with a guy, Frank Middleton, who's just now gotten into being a
Oh, cool.
BFRO investigator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool. I don't have anything against them, against the investigators that are part of the BFRO. I think they're all real great people. I just the organizer and I just had a little buttle of heads, and he said some things, and I said some things, and now I make my own show.
that's right. That's right. You know,
Yeah.
so so you do that. So what brought up the idea of taking it to that next level, where you decided I'm going to find a way to do this full time
It
because a
was a
lot of us can't do it.
mixture. It was a mixture of a couple different things. One, I think the big thing was I didn't want to do. I was an EMT and firefighter paramedic for 12 years, and that's the average length of time that an EMT and firefighter stays an EMT firefighter for their careers, 12 years. So it was time. I was burnt out, physically, mentally, just burnt out. So I needed a change in my life, and I was doing this Bigfoot thing on the side as a hobby, like we talked about. And I was like, okay, well, is there any way for me to make this thing like money? Can I make money doing this on the side? And somebody said, "Well, why don't you do a library presentation?" And me, who has never really been into the whole library scene ever, was like, "They do that?" So I called up my local library and I said, "Hey, I would like to talk about Bigfoot." They about laughed me out of the room. So I called a bunch of other libraries and I finally nailed one down. I had to do it for free the first couple times, but after you get your name, you start making yourself a name in the field. Because I was looking for Bigfoot prior to this for years and years and years. So I had my show, I had my background, everything was set that way. So I had the history and the qualifications to do it. And then I just started doing more and more, and finally I'm like, after I started like getting a little bit of income, and I'm like, oh man, I could do as many of these as I want. So I'm like, I think I'm going to do this full time. And I started like thinking outside the box, just like we talked about. And I'm like, how can I make this unique and different? And another thing is, like we talked about at the beginning of the program, I don't have any like, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I have the capabilities to do this and to travel and do this full time, which a lot of people I know don't have that option. um but yeah, I decided I'm going to take it on the road, do as many libraries as I physically can before I croak over and cannot do anymore. And I've been very close. I've only had to cancel like two libraries ever of my tour. And it's been one of the most interesting, humbling, fun experiences that I've ever experienced in my whole life, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm doing it again next year on the, like we talked about, on the Beyond the Footprint store. I can't wait. We're hitting up like 17 different states next year.
Wow. I mean, because you look at, like I said, you found a nick. You found what works for you. you thought outside of the box, which is amazing because usually the things that pop up with Bigfoot researcher is, first of all, number one is write a book.
Hmm.
They all want to write a book. That's how they're going to get known. That's how they're going to make money or whatever, which is fantastic. I'm not much for writing, but I think
Yeah.
that's a fantastic thing. I would write a book if I knew how and had the time. The second one is try to get on TV,
Hmm.
try to do something spectacular, and I get my own show or something like that, or I get brought on or I'm a guest or whatever, and that kind of builds that momentum. But what you did was completely outside the box. You know what I mean? And I thought that was fantastic. I thought, yeah, that's this guy. You put some thought into it. You know what I mean? You planned it. How many of these do you do a year?
This year I am capping it. I did 87 presentations this year.
Wow, in a 52-week year, you did 80 something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's keeping busy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's a slow year. The year prior in 2024 I did 100 presentations. I was on the road 150 nights out of the year last
Wow,
year. Yeah. So it's
man,
not,
that is
and
amazing.
it's a labor of love. Like you mentioned a while back, just before actually, is as a Bigfoot researcher, we don't get paid a lot of money.
No,
That's kind of like a thing. It's funny because last last time I checked, I didn't get paid like anything actually. So everything
uh,
that I do, I have to like I do like I have my Etsy. That's a like a good side source of income. Buy a Bigfoot wind chime from me type of thing. I sell merchandise at Bigfoot events and conferences.
mhm,
That's fun. You get to meet people and stuff like that.
mhm.
But like the primary source of my income and the way I get to travel is the library presentations. They pay pretty well, and um, it's really cool because this is my favorite time of year. I mentioned I take winter off, but it's actually not off for me because I do all my event planning for next year. Already in 2026, we have 30 events scheduled for next year.
Oh wow,
Um, so yeah, we're hitting this hard. I mean, it's gonna be a crazy year, and they're all big events too. They're not like little small like let me go vend at a local vending event type thing. These are like national conferences and stuff. Um, so it's fun. You know, it's definitely different. You mentioned it's difficult. Not a lot of people, I don't think, can do what I do. I don't make a lot of money. It's not glamorous. My back does hurt. Um, you know, uh, I don't have a ton of friends because people don't realize road life, you're not connected to everybody all the time.
right.
You don't have the capabilities, uh, on top of In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, which is my show, I have kind of expanded the 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 outside the box, if you will, where a couple years ago I dove into. So I paid, and I think I saw Icebox in one of the comments. He could probably relate to this and back me up by saying the BFRO expeditions are not cheap.
Right.
So when I went on my first expedition, I paid a lot of money, and so I did. Paid that money, and I made this show. Once I started making the In the Shadow show, I was like, man, I don't want to have people pay this ridiculous amount of money to go and enjoy something that they want to do. That's
Right.
not cool. That's just the morally, I don't think that's right. It's like, if you go like, big game hunting in Africa, you pay your guide. Like I get that, but if you don't take your friend, like you don't if you go fishing, you don't charge your buddy to use your rod. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I made the show. It's called Squatchables. I did not steal it from Lunchables, so don't get me for that. All right. But it's an 11-part series about like how to go look for Bigfoot, Bigfooting 101, how to find a Sasquatch, and it's all on the YouTube channel. So if anybody is looking into getting into Bigfoot field research and doesn't want to pay all that money, uh, subscribe. It's free. Boom. And I tell you everything from like if you've never been in the woods before, if you've never been hiking, I tell you how to read like the trail markers on the trees, all the way up into really in-depth stuff like track casting and evidence collection. So that's all on the YouTube. It's called Squatchables. I just started a brand new series. Since I'm on the road, I figure, how am I going to capitalize on what I do? Right. So, again, thinking outside the box, I made a new series just premiered last week. It's called Bigfoot Big Business. And what I do is I go around to Bigfoot businesses or squatchpreneurs that have created their life around Bigfoot and created their company and branding around Bigfoot. And I interview them and just go into the Bigfoot business aspect of it and say, why has it done for you? What do we do? What can I do to promote this? And we get it on the YouTube, and oh, it's fun. It's great.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't realize that portion of it, the advertising part of Sasquatch, not just beef jerky and stuff like that or soap. It's a $1 billion a year industry.
Yeah.
It's a huge industry, and some people have been successful tapping into it. Have been.
Mhm.
Oh, that's all. Let me see. Flat Rock wanted to put on there. He said, "Is Mike going to do any private properties on doing his research?"
Flat Rock, is that an invite back to come camp at your property again? Because that's what it sounds like to me. And
Probably.
yes, I would love to.
Yeah, and private property, I think, is very key.
Yeah,
Um, I do my research by myself, and
yeah,
so it limits me because I can't do a lot of stuff at night because I'm by myself. And if I get out there and something happens, and Florida is a very dangerous state to research in at night. It is during the day, but really bad at night because there's so many things that want to do you harm. Um, and I have to there's so much private property. I mean, thousands of acres that are owned by cattlemen or owned by big organizations like Pasco or Ben Hill Griffin and all these big billionaires that you can't get on them.
yeah,
So I'm limited to finding preserves where there's no hunting, fishing, stuff like that, where I know there's a great population of animals. People aren't destroying the property and stuff like that. Of course, you got your state parks and different things like that. So getting on private property, that somebody says, "Yeah, I got 1,000 acres," you're more than happy to come out there. That's a dream come true. You know what I
that's
mean?
key.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, you get to go out there and not be bothered and not come across somebody else. Even though
yeah,
where I research is very, very rare, I come across anybody. There's a guy and um, named Troy. He's with Sasquatch Origins here in Florida. He's up in those areas as well. Troy Palmer, great guy. Him and Desi, they're a team. They have Sasquatch Origins. I just had him on a show this year. Fantastic guy. Um, and now I forgot the point I was going to make. What were we talking about? Somebody remind
coming
me.
meeting other people in the woods.
Yeah, okay. So he comes out with me last week. Me and him go out, and it was fantastic. We had a great day. One person all day. We
Yeah,
came across one person all day long. You know what I
that's
mean?
nice.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah,
Finding places that people just don't go to because we're as researchers, yourself, you look and you go, it doesn't look like anybody's walked over there. I'm going to go in that direction.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You try to
I
go
re-
where other people don't go.
I routinely find myself asking myself when I'm out in the woods, especially when I'm off trail, because I do a lot of off trail research. I don't do much on trail stuff. I routinely find myself questioning like, when was the last time someone like stood exactly where I stood? Has it
Hmm
been a week? Has it been a year? Has it been 100 years?
Isn't that
Has it
amazing?
been? It's so cool. I don't know. I just
I,
love thinking that.
I do that, now sometimes it backstabs me because I'll be out somewhere going, I just broke brush for a mile.
Mm,
When was I'm an explorer? I felt like an explorer. I felt like Ponce de Leon, just just finding Florida. And then I'll look down and find a beer can.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, it's still cold. It's like, come on.
Yeah, somebody just subscribed to your channel from the UK.
Hey, thank
From
you
the
very much.
UK.
I appreciate that from the UK. That's awesome. Very cool. Across the pond.
Yeah, that is. So you I mean that's I didn't know you were doing that many a year. That's amazing. That is. So let's get into a different side of it. So you talk to all these people. You have an opportunity to um hear their stories and stuff like that. Let's look at two of them. Let's look at two stories. What is the wildest, craziest, the one that you walked away scratching your head going, wow? And then what was the scariest story that you've heard from somebody? See what I'm saying?
Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, so the scariest, I'm gonna leave for the second, but the craziest one was about 2 years ago. I guess it was 2 years ago. Every July, I do my annual pilgrimage up to the Great Moxie State. If anybody can guess that right off the bat, I'll give you props. Maine, and we go up there for my birthday. I one because I just like Maine. Two, I like doing libraries in Maine because everybody's so cool about it. I actually had one library up there. They actually built me like a stage outside, which was so
Oh,
cool.
wow.
But I digress. We go up to Mountain Blue State Park, which is Maine's Western Mountains. Very beautiful, beautiful area. And I met a gentleman who s- saw Bigfoot. He contacted me and said, "I want to bring you out to the location." And I said, "Okay, can I film?" Absolutely. I'm like, "Okay, cool. This is good." Right in our projected research area. It's like awesome. So we get there. This guy starts looking and telling his story, and he says that and this is all on the YouTube channel, has a sighting of a 20-foot tall Sasquatch with pterodactyl claws. That's it, running through the woods, and how you're 20 feet and you can run through the woods is beyond me. First of all, I don't understand that part about it, but then he started pointing out footprints that were, and we measured because why not?
Right?
That were just impressions in the ground. They were not, there were no visible toes, but I mean these things were like 96 inches long, and he was saying that that's where a Sasquatch has stepped. A 90, that's like that's that's bigger than me, I
Right.
think.
A little bit.
Yeah. So like if anybody's interested in that story, it's one for the books. It's on the YouTube channel. Just search Maine. It's actually part of the series called Bigfoot Campfire Stories.
And we all have those, and I bring it up because we run into that. We
Yeah,
get these stories,
yeah.
and you're looking, especially if you're live, you're in face to face with a person, and you just a lot of times they get this from me.
Yeah,
That's about as far as it goes. But
yeah.
you
And I
you
try not to
always
give
can,
that look, but
you can't help it sometimes. But a lot of times you're like, well, that is really interesting. That's pretty cool. Blah blah blah. But you really don't have something to come back with it without upsetting somebody. You know what I mean? And
well,
because we
you can't tell somebody they didn't see something. That's
right,
just, as a researcher, you and an investigator, you can't tell somebody that. So you have to take whatever they say with what they say. Caught a 40-pound bass yesterday. Yes, nice. Same thing. But yeah, it's maybe he did see something, but he like Flat Rock may have just did was exaggerated a little bit
right.
for the show. Who knows,
And I think that's what happens is I think they tried to one up somebody else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or they're mistaken. We have. a certain person here in the state of Florida that claims they're 20, 25 feet tall. They got 36-inch prints. And I'm like, I just, that's really tough to bite onto. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, so, but then, you've got, some that are, it's such a simple thing. Hey, I was walking, this thing just walked right across from me and went into the woods. It took about 3 seconds. I can bite into that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Something so simple. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And yeah, but some of it makes you go, remember that song?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true, and it's true. But you know, regardless, it was a really cool and an active area. So we took the report, we cataloged it, we did what we investigated it like we always do with any report that we get, and then we went out at night with a gentleman, almost got lost in the woods. He lost a trail camera. The only reason we made it out and I'm still alive is because I put on the GPS on my phone. So, moral of the story, don't go out with people at night that say they have saw a 20-foot tall Bigfoot because they may get
I
you lost.
yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't know where he was
I've got
going.
lost during the
He's
day.
like oh, I've been in this woods all the time. I daytime, nighttime, I'm fine. So we start following him, and I'm like, man, I don't know if this guy knows what he's talking about. And so I put on my
Yeah.
GPS, and oh man, if we didn't put on that, we would have been not in good shape.
Now you got the chat room now trying to up each other. Lenny's out of Miami. He's a great guy. I've gotten to meet him in person. He's a fantastic guy. You know, he's kind of like our attorney. He's an attorney in real life, but he's there to give us advice and coach us through things and stuff like that. He's a fantastic guy. Um, but so let's get into the scary one. What was the one that just somebody told you, this incident or encounter or whatever that just made you walk away going, okay, I'm not going to sleep well thinking about that tonight.
Okay, it's not okay. So this one's not like a scary encounter; it's more ironic encounter. Um, so I had got a couple years ago. You remember I said I take the winter off before I started touring. Um, I had gotten cabin fever really bad, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on a hike. And I had gotten a map of my county, and I was like, okay. I planned it out for like a week. I was like, okay, if Bigfoot is gonna be in the county, this is where Bigfoot's gonna be, and it's gonna be here right now. So I'm gonna go hike to that location because I got cabin fever and it's winter, it's February, and I want to get out and whatever. So I trekked out to the place and I didn't see anything. Set up a trail camera, whatever, and I didn't think twice about it. A couple days had gone by. I had gotten a phone call from a witness that said, "Hey, I saw a Bigfoot 30 years ago, 20 years ago, up in this location. I've never been back there since." I was like, "Okay, this is this is a cool thing. Let me interview you. I'd love to hear more about it." We got together and we started hiking at the same trailhead that I was on a couple days prior. I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of cool, huh? Funny thing, right?"
Right, right.
And his encounter was at the exact point on the map where I had put my trail camera, and I said, "This is going to be the sighting location where it's going to happen in the county." That's where his sighting location was. I mean,
Wow.
20 feet. 20 feet. My trail camera was off of where he had his sighting. So
Wow.
it was pretty cool. But his sighting was very cool because he's a hunter who was hunting his whole life. He was probably in his, I don't know, 30s. And he was building a tree stand up in the state park, which you were able to do back then. And he was putting it up, and he was knocking, banging, like knock, 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 nailing the the nails into the tree. So he didn't think twice about it. He went out to his car for another load of wood. He came back over about halfway done. He set the wood down right to the spot where where he's had this incident, and he took a pee. Didn't think twice about it, had to pee, so he picked his wood back up, went back, started nailing the thing. He went back out for another load. As he was looking through the tree line down into this gas line, there's a gas line. Right where he peed, there was a mother Bigfoot just smelling, head up, smelling as deep as you could smell, and then there were two baby Bigfoot spider monkeying across the
Mm.
ground right where he peed at, smelling. So that's cool. And he had scared him so much he never returned to the woods. He stopped hunting. He never returned to
Wow.
the woods until I brought him back there 30 years later. And that's on my YouTube channel as well.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's wow. It's almost similar to Johnny. Johnny, there's this location. I've been up there. It's an amazing area called they call it the Happy Place because
Oh,
the guy that introduced him to it, his name is Happy, and he had an encounter there when he was young. So it became a place that they would go out there and research, and they've had Class A sightings out there. Um, but there is and I've been up there. There's a gas line that runs right through this forest. You know what I mean? And that's where we camp. We camp on
yeah.
the gas line. So we have
Hmm.
a clear view one way, clear view the other way. And it's kind of uphill where we're at. So you go downhill, and then there's a creek. And then, of course, it keeps on going for who knows how long. But same thing. So there might be something to gas lines. Maybe there's something to it. I
Gas
don't know.
lines and power lines, I think, are like Bigfoot highways. I think you got to think about it. There's not a lot of people, a lot of food sources. I think Bigfoot eat the same thing like bears eat, so a lot of bushes and berries and ferns and stuff like that. A lot of that along there, and just not a lot of it's illegal for in most places to trespass along these gas lines and power lines. So I'm not, you camp wherever you want, but I don't want anybody to
Well,
get in
this goes
trouble.
through
But
somebody's private. It goes through his private
oh,
property.
okay, cool,
The
cool,
guy
yeah.
that actually owns the land, he allows them to go out there, but he
Oh,
owns the
that's cool.
land. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I think it was his family has owned this land so far back, it was a king's grant. That's how
Oh,
they got the property. That's how long
wow.
they've had this property in Georgia. And so I think he may. I don't know how it works, but you would think he would get some kind of compensation for them to run
Yeah,
gas lines and stuff through his property. See what I'm saying?
yeah.
But
But
that's the only reason it's there.
yeah. But I think they're, that's definitely, if you're looking for Bigfoot, start along a gas line or a power line. Definitely a good spot to start at least.
Well, I'm a big believer that, and I was a hunter for a long time. I gave up hunting. I haven't given up going in the woods, of course, but I gave up hunting after my encounter. And but I believe Bigfoot, Sasquatch, skunk ape, whatever you guys want to call it, they utilize the same things we do. I think they utilize trails. They utilize
Yeah.
certain things because it's a quick way to get to A to B. See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I take trails. I'll take a
Yeah.
trail and till it gets me to a point where now I need to break off. See what I'm saying? And but it gets me there quicker. So if I got to go 2 miles into the woods and then start my research, well, I want to get there as quickly as I can. I think that's
Yeah.
why a lot of researchers are now going to the e-bikes so they can get out
Yeah.
there a lot faster.
Yeah.
I haven't broke down and done that yet. It's just another expense, but
I know. I know. I got to get a thermal drone before I get an e-bike.
yeah. And I think the prices of thermal drones are slowly starting to come down.
I know. I
Um,
know. Thanks. I got to do a couple more libraries though.
Yeah. I fly a drone, not a thermal drone. I just have a drone. I mostly
Yeah.
do it for I use it for two things. Like in the intro you saw there's some aerial footage, but I usually do it for B footage for a lot of my film. But I also use it if I'm in an area that I need to research that area and I can't get to it due to
Yeah.
a huge canal is in my way. Now I can launch it, fly over there, look around, and then bring it back and say, okay, that was really cool. I need to find a way over there. Maybe
Yeah.
next time I need to bring my kayak. So,
Hmm. Definitely.
but that's pretty cool. So what do you have going on now? Where are you looking at now? I know you're going to do some more libraries. Where's your next place? Where are you? Kind of give us a itinerary where you're going to be in the next month or two, so maybe some people can say, "Hey, that's close to me. I'm going to go check
Yeah.
Mike out."
So next year, nothing in the winter, like I said, kind of slows down for the winter, but have my schedule right here. Starting off in January, we'll be down by you. You got, I'm sure, a couple listeners from Florida. So I'll be January 24th, I'll be at the Okeechobee County Library. January 27th, I'll be in DeLand.
Deland. Oh, nice.
Yep.
Deland.
And then on Friday, January 30th, I'll be in Hastings, up by St. Augustine, which I'm
Right.
very excited about because I've never been there. So that'll be fun.
Well, if you get a chance to go into St. Augustine, it's a very neat city.
I think we're going to take a day and do that because I think it's necessary. I think
Yeah,
I've never been, so yeah.
it's pretty. It's been I've been back and forth. I want to say whenever the hurricane, I think it was Hurricane Michael that hit St. Augustine. I can't remember which hurricane it was because we get so many. But me and a group went up there to help out with the hurricane relief,
Mm,
and so we camped out the whole time we were there. We were there for 10 days, helping people roof, put tarps on the roof, stuff like that. We were doing.
yeah.
I think in 10 days we did over 200 and something tarps. But
Wow.
there was a German restaurant. I remember it was German. You're gonna love it. You got to find it if it's there. I know it's near the lighthouse. That's I remember. It's not far from the lighthouse, but it's a German restaurant. And this is what I ate, Mike. Just so you know, to go there. I ate there 2 times. The first night I had a hamburger
Okay.
stuffed with macaroni and cheese.
Really? Okay.
I was like, holy crap, who thought about stuffing a burger? So I went back a night or two later and I got a cheeseburger stuffed with a cheesesteak.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'm telling you. Then they had a wall with like 80 different taps of all these different German beers.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
Yeah. So it was
All right.
pretty
Well,
amazing
when we
place.
go there, I'll send you the picture of the cheesesteak burger.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool restaurant. Pretty cool. And it's like it's a heart attack ready to happen, and I'm happy to take that for the team. So,
It's
but I think
awesome.
okay, so you got Florida. Then where are you going after Florida?
Florida, then I come back home. I do some local stuff for New York and New Jersey. Then come March, I didn't even I probably shouldn't even say anything, but maybe mid-March I might be taking a plane out west somewhere. So that would
Nice.
be cool. No more details about that now because I can't release them. Then
Can,
I'll
can I
be
can I try to
icebox.
can I try to guess one?
Sure.
Can I at least say if you're going west, are you going to the Mecca of Bigfoot?
No. This
Oh,
is not where you think it is. This is probably
okay.
the opposite of where you would expect me to go. Just saying.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we got to
Yeah.
watch people subscribe and watch and see where he's
Yeah.
going. Like I say,
And
brought
then
up Icebox. Where are you going?
straight after that, right after that, in the third week of March, I'll be in Indiana and Illinois. That'll be hopefully the kickoff, the real tour around St. Patty's Day. Give or take Indiana. Then I'm moving up in April to the Finger Lakes, doing some local things in Connecticut. And then in May it begins. It's just nonstop. It starts with the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival in
Mm.
Townsend, Tennessee. That's the first weekend in May. I'll be there. Then I move right into South Carolina. I have a week long of libraries in South Carolina. Then I moved to New Jersey, up into Vermont the week after, and then I'm back down for the Red River Gorge Bigfoot Festival. I'm traveling like I don't have a week off for months. Like that's how
Wow.
busy this is going to be. Oh, and then for the 5th time in a row I am emceeing the Forest County Bigfoot Festival in Marionville, Pennsylvania in June. That's going to be huge. Can't wait for that. Then I'm going to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Man, it's just going to be Maine for my birthday. It's just, if anybody's
I was
interested in my travels, you can go to my website at www.shadowofredeye.com and you could see all my upcoming tour appearances.
I was lucky enough to actually meet in person, Icebox, and
Oh,
we're
cool.
good friends. We're good friends. He's a fantastic guy, and they invited me up to Salt Fork up in Ohio,
Ooh, nice.
and I got to spend, what was it, 4 day or 4 days, 3 nights camping out up there.
Isn't
Fantastic,
that cool?
amazing. I think I know for a fact I still haven't gone through all the audio. I'm horrible at audio, but I mostly listen to the audio on the plane flight back. But fantastic um, vocals. I've gotten some fantastic
Hmm.
vocals. Something right outside the tent. I highly recommend anybody who has the opportunity to go to Salt Fork at least experience it. It was
Yes.
not what I expected. I did not know Ohio had hills like that. It seems that the state has forgotten they 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 pride themselves on everywhere you go is uphill. It just blew my mind. And but we got up there. The temperatures were in the 50s at night.
Mm,
70s, 80s during the day. So it was gorgeous. Fall was just coming in, so you did have a lot of acorns falling and leaves and
yeah.
stuff. But gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Not what I thought Ohio was like at all.
Mm.
Icebox wants to know where in Indiana.
Okay. Are you so if you're familiar with Indiana, outside of Terre Haute, there's a little town called Brazil, not the country, the little town. I might be going there. I'm in talks with their library right now. So if you're in Brazil, Indiana, let your library know that you want me there. And then over to the east, we're gonna end up the tour on the eastern side of Indiana by the Ohio border.
Yep. Flat Rock giving you kudos again. I'll put that up there.
Thanks, Flat Rock, man. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna you just well, you know how to reach me, and I will message you my personal phone number,
Okay,
and
cool.
but keep me informed because like I said, you're going to be at a couple locations that are uh, fairly close to me, and like I said, if life goes well and I'm still working at this job, which I hope I do because I'm really enjoying it, I get, like I said, 3 days off a week, so I might be able to swing getting and meeting up with you and stuff like that, especially after the end of the show. And I'm going to talk to you backstage. Might be something interesting that we
Yeah.
can look at. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, anything else you want to add? Anything you want to throw out? That the audience is yours. So
Oh
share
man.
whatever you want to share. Tell them what you want to share. Promote whatever you want to promote. Anybody in the chat room, if you have any questions for Mike, now's the time to do it. I mean, he's here. He's got he's undivided
This is
attention.
true.
Just put it in caps so I can see which ones are questions, and Mike will answer it for you. And if he
Yeah.
doesn't,
No.
I'll give him a cheat sheet.
No, I think let's see. What can I talk about? Hmm. Scariest thing that I've ever come across in the woods was a I was actually it's in Pennsylvania and it was in a state game no, not a state forest. And I was driving to my campsite, which is I was lost. It was middle of the night. Turns out it was right down the road. But I found a naked bloody doll right on the side of the
Ugh.
road. And I
Bloody.
don't yeah, blood not muddy, bloody bee.
That's how I said
And
bloody.
yeah, and that was not a good I'm not a fan of that. For
No,
some
I
reason.
think I would have packed up and went home.
Yeah, I didn't set up tent that night. No, I didn't set up camp. I went elsewhere.
Yeah. Sometimes the writing's on the wall or on the
Yeah,
side of the road.
yeah. Have I
Music.
ever had any smells or heard of any smells? Oh, okay. So, no, personally, no. I have never had smelled anything that I could relate to Bigfoot. A lot of some people, I believe it's one out of every 10 reports, give or take, have a smell associated with them. Um, that's never personally happened to me, but I can relate a story from the Bridges property up, which is right outside of Torrey State Park in Florida, where I had my first encounter. She has some property, the Bridges have some property, and every night they have their little ATV gator thing. You know what I'm talking about? Their
Hmm.
mule.
Yeah, yeah, a little
And
side by side.
yeah, yeah, and they have their property. I think they have 40 acres, and they have trails that kind of meander through the property. So they do the property border trail every night as like their little tradition. So, anyways, they have a like a greenhouse type thing. Miss Bridges, she does a lot of gardening, so she's got this greenhouse, and inside of the door one day, she had this gardening glove, and she went in one morning and she only found one. However, she knew there was a pair of them. There's a pair of gloves there, but there was only one that was left there. So anyway, she looked around. She couldn't find it for forever. She didn't think anything about it. She's like, "Oh, I must be going crazy." Anyways, years go by. 2 years goes by. They're driving around their property on the side by side, just like they do every night on on the outskirts of their property, and they find right in the middle of the path that green gardening glove, and
Wow.
it smells like like everybody describes Bigfoot smelling like, that's what it smelled like. And what's cool is they keep this thing in a plastic bag and they let investigators that come to their property actually smell it so they can kind of see
Oh
what
wow.
Bigfoot smells like, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's interesting. It really is. Now, up there in New Jersey and Pennsylvania and all those areas, you ever run into Steve Coles?
I know Steve. Yeah, Steve's a good friend of mine. Yeah, he's up in
Yeah,
the Adirondacks up in New York, Whitehall area. Yeah.
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 Me and him are buddies, man. I love him to death. Love him to death.
Yeah,
You know,
he
and
is a character. He's fun though.
he's a great guy. He's a great
Yeah, he
guy.
is.
So a very intelligent man, extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rag him all the time. I was like, Steve, because I read a lot of books. I got a lot of books, and I said, Steve, you're the only book that I have that is not signed. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I know
yeah.
you. I know you. I said I will mail it to you just so you can sign it. Oh no, one day I'm gonna do it in person. We're gonna do it in
There,
person. You know what I mean? And I'm
right?
like, man, I hope so.
Well, that just means you got to get up
Yeah,
to
Steve's
Whitehall.
great. I've been up there, up in Pennsylvania and New York, but up in the area of Cuba, New York,
Oh, yeah.
um, and very forested area up there, and went up there, and
Mhm.
I thought it was beautiful. Found nothing, didn't see anything, but it was beautiful. Then down in Pennsylvania, like the Bradford area, you
Yep.
know, and nothing there.
I've done
And I've
presentations
gone some
in
other
Cuba
places.
and Bradford.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I we now we have stepped on the same ground. you know. Where else? I've done. I think one of the best places that I really enjoy. Salt Fork was great, but Uwharrie National Forest in North Carolina,
Mm, mhm.
a very very. I've had things happen there that it's one of those things where could it be? Could it not be? You know what I mean? It's one of those things that later on you look back on going, huh, I wonder if that could have been them. You know what I mean? But beautiful
Yeah.
area.
Speaking of the
But
Uwaris, they had last year, and I'm going to be doing it again this year, emceeing the URE Bigfoot Festival in Denton, North
wow.
Carolina, which is huge. They brought in like 18,000 people last year.
Oh
So
wow.
you gotta come. They're getting Turtle Man is coming back. Swamp Man, I think, is gonna be there. The mountain monsters are gonna be there. They're gonna have a monster truck, the Bigfoot monster truck there again. So definitely something to check out in Denton,
Wow.
North Carolina.
See, yeah, and the Mountain Beast, that's the ones where you bring in entertainment. That's the entertainment portion of
Yeah, yeah.
Bigfoot World. Icebox, it's really funny because he asked a question earlier, have you ever had any smells or anything? And now he brings up a book. See, the reason why Icebox brought up the whole smell thing is he's writing a book on Bigfoot and smells, but it's a
Mm.
scratch and sniff book. It's scratch and
Oh,
sniff.
that's
So
wonderful.
that's what busting his balls. That's my boy right there. Uh,
That's
so
funny.
you're going to if when you go out west, that's the furthest you've gone, wherever it is, the mysterious place you're going. That's the farthest you've not done anything in like Washington, Oregon, Northern
Yeah, yeah.
California.
No, it's a dream of mine to get out there. I'd love to get up the Pacific Northwest. I just, like you said, like we said earlier, don't make a ton of money, and it's very expensive to get out that way.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
yep. And right now, flying is not a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No, not at the moment.
and that's like there's so many interesting people in the Bigfoot community, and that's why I was big on trying to get you on the show because you're one of those people that's just so interesting. And another one was this simple guy. He's just doing what he loves, and is Frank Middleton. And in a short period that he's been involved in the Bigfoot world, this guy's traveled everywhere. He's done the whole, hey, I'm going to go to Colorado, I'm going to go to Canada
Right.
and see what Todd Standing's all about. I'm going to find
Yeah.
out. He goes and spends the money and goes to Todd Standing. He goes and spends the money and goes to Bluff Creek. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
nice.
He goes to these places, and I'm like, I don't know how y'all are doing it. I don't know how. I gotta sell more bottle tops or something, or do an
Yeah, yeah.
OnlyFans.
Right. Yeah. I got to sign up for that or buy some more like pins or something from me.
back back when I was a kid, we used to make money collecting aluminum cans and glass bottles. You got 10 cents a
Right.
bottle if you took them to the store. And I'm like, I'm giving away my age now, giving it away. So, dude, I gotta say that this is an awesome show. I mean, this has been great. I am so ecstatic that we were able to pull it off tonight. Granted, 8 o'clock was a weird night,
Yeah.
but we had a good crowd going for a good time. I mean, we have almost a dozen in there now, but we were doing really good there. So,
Cool.
I think like I said, you'd have to look at all three channels to see because I
Yeah.
posted on three different channels how well it does. But I think it's going to do well. Um, Fantastic. You've got to keep us informed so we can have you back, kind of like an
Yeah.
update show. What's going on in Mike's life? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
No,
we can,
sure.
you
Anybody
know,
that's interested in my journey, like I said, I have the weekly YouTube channel, weekly YouTube episodes in the shadow of Big Red Eye, www.shadowofredeye.com. If anybody is interested in coming on an expedition with me next year, you can. It's the first time I'm actually offering this to the public. You can go on the website. I'm changing the game again, thinking outside the box. Is what I'm doing is the expedition lottery. So not only are people the people come up all the time. Hey, can I come out with you? Do you take people out with you? I'm instead of like how other organizations do it, where you gotta sign up and sign your life away and pay a lot of money and get interviewed, and then you could have the recommendation to go on this. I'm making a lottery where you fill out a Google form. Anybody that's interested wants to come out with me, fills out a Google form. I put you in the lottery, pick you from the lottery. If your name's called, you're coming out with me next year on a Bigfoot expedition.
dude, that's like winning the lottery.
Right? It's amazing how I came up with that name.
It's a no brainer. I would do it. I would do it. I would do it. It's hard for me to travel, but if you were down here and like, hey man, let's do this, I'm all over it. You know?
Yeah, well, we'll talk after the show. You know that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there's something I want to bring up, and you might be interested in.
Cool.
Um, so yeah, anything else you want to promote? Anything? Because I want these people to be well informed on Mike. I want them to
Yeah,
know
no, just
because
if I'm coming to a city near you, come out and see me, support me. Uh, buy me firewood and dinner. I would not mind that while I'm on the road. Um, no, really, I appreciate everybody coming in and listening to me ramble. This is I'm no one like crazy special. I'm just a Bigfoot researcher that has a YouTube show, and I appreciate everybody listening and taking the time out of their day to come and chat with me. Um, Stay up to date on the adventures. I'm always on Facebook. If you want to send me a friend request, send me a friend request. Keep up to date with me that way. Um, yeah, it's been an awesome time. I can't believe it's been an hour and a half. It feels like it's been 20 minutes.
oh yeah, I think I could easily go another hour if I wanted to, but I do have to go to work tomorrow. But
Yes.
guys, check him out. Go to In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. Check him out. I highly recommend it. That's how I found you, watching some of the stuff that pops up and seeing you on Facebook and stuff. And I see these things and I'm like, man, this is a really interesting guy. I'm so glad you responded. You responded fairly quickly, and I'm so appreciative. I really am.
Yeah. No, of
And
course.
I couldn't thank you enough.
Yeah, no, it's I get a fair share of podcast requests to be on, and I've had to
Oh, I'm
really
sure.
limit the number of the ones that I go on. So I'm glad that we were able to connect, and I'm glad that the stars aligned and I could be on tonight.
No, it's fantastic. I again, I am so appreciative, and I'm sorry that Johnny missed it because Johnny would have definitely enjoyed this show. Um,
I'll just have to do it
so
again.
anybody out there, oh yeah, absolutely. You keep us informed on what's going on in your life and in your journey into this thing. We'll bring you on. I
Cool.
instantly. It'd be a no brainer. So,
Awesome.
um, oh yeah, I got your back, Mike. Any guys out there, please check him out. Subscribe to his stuff, and also don't forget, we have a show too. It's Sasquatch Unredacted, and we call it that because there's no fluff. It's the truth. This is it. This is no made up stuff. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by the same name. Also, check out Sasquatch Encounter Brigade with Johnny. That's Facebook and YouTube under the same name. He's doing some great stuff. Johnny has stuff actually happening around his house. So he's able to walk outside, get into the woods, and document stuff where I have to drive to the nearest place. So he's very lucky, kind of like Flat Rock, very lucky in that aspect. Um, and don't forget, I did take some time off for the summer. It was really hot down here, and I was dealing with issues with work and all that. I'm back at it, getting back into the woods. So please check me out, Bigfoot Florida Guy, Facebook and YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Um, Mike, thank you. Um,
Of course.
Anytime, dude. Anytime. You got something to say or you got something to, get out there, you hit me up. You hit
When
me
I
up
run
and,
for
and we'll get
office,
you
I
on.
will let you know.
Absolutely. And a funny thing is you're in Jersey. I have a brother, a younger brother who lives in Jersey. And he's expecting his 12th child. That is 12 child
Wow.
next month. Next month.
In New Jersey
All from the
is
same wife.
impressive
Yep.
because it's very expensive to live up here. So congratulations
He
to that.
makes a lot
That's
of money.
okay.
He
You
makes a
have to
lot
for
of
12.
money.
Yeah. Yeah, with 12 you got
He ma-
to.
Yep, yep. So it's just funny when you say Jersey and all that, and every time you brought it up, I think of my brother, and that's why you see me occasionally check my phone because he was text messaging me, and I'm thinking the baby.
Oh,
But
yeah.
no baby.
Ah,
But
not yet.
again, I thought of him, and I thought of Steve Coles every time you mentioned those areas. So.
Yes.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much, dude.
No
I
problem.
like I said, I'm stoked that you made the show. I am so happy that you're here. I'm going to drop you backstage, and I'm going to end the show, and I'll be back there shortly.
See everybody later. Thanks for joining.
All right, Mike. All right, guys. fantastic show. So glad you guys are here. I know it was last minute. We had to, it was just a very busy week, but we wanted to get a show in. We do have another show coming up next week. We're pretty booked through December, but if somebody wants to come on the show, you've had a sighting, you've had an encounter, or you're a researcher that wants to talk about your evidence, please let us know. Contact us at sasquatchunredacted@gmail.com. We'd love to talk to you and possibly have you on the show. Just hit us up. It's free. And, we're starting a new year. December is 1 year anniversary doing the podcast, and we're jumping into 2026. So if you want to be on the show, please let us know. Again, God bless each and every one of you guys. I am so thankful for you guys. Our subscribers are very important to us, and you guys are just fantastic. We couldn't tell you enough. And thank you, Lenny. Lenny saying it was a great show. Icebox saying it was a good show. No, Johnny's not sick. Because I had to back it up an hour, Johnny couldn't make it. He's got to go to work, and they're dealing with the baby and stuff like that. So things happen. So again, guys, thank you. We will see you next week. I believe we have a show next Friday night. So we will see you then. God bless each and every one of you guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and God bless our troops. We didn't have a show to say God bless our troops and God bless our troops.